Welcome into the Oh Health Yeah podcast, brought to you by Healthy is Wellness. As you all know, our mission is to empower you to take control of your health and elicit a little bit of curiosity in your life when it comes to the world of wellness. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you have loved ones or friends that you think would benefit from this, share it with them. Let's get this thing going. What is up, Healthiest family? We are back with another edition of the Oh Health Yeah podcast. Today we're going to be talking about some topics in the health and wellness world that are just things that are kind of big ideas and big concepts that we want to talk about our take on. Zach's got some ideas on things that he's thought about that he wants to talk through. So the majority of this episode will just be us talking about these topics, and the way that we frame these is a little bit more broad. So hopefully you guys can steal a little bit of something from this or learn something from this, or it'll pique a little bit of interest in your life. So here we go. Zach's got some topics. We're going to roll with them.
Hi there, everybody. So, what I plugged into Google is just kind of give me some hot topics, some broad topics that we can talk about that will make everybody feel welcome rather than our traditional hot topic episode. This isn't going to be so controversial. I'm going to lay out the ideas and then him and I are just going to discuss. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Number one. This is really interesting, but it's the number one option because it's something that I just talked about and something that I'm actively doing right now. The simple power of unplugging to distress. The angle, life feels faster and louder than ever. The topic is about the realistic, everyday ways we can protect our peace and manage stress without needing a fancy routine. How just taking a few minutes to step away from screens, get outside, or sit in silence can reset your day. What are some easy, zero-cost boundaries we can set to keep from feeding a constantly overwhelmed mind?
Basically de-stressing and decluttering the mind to allow yourself to be present. It's really what I hear there. So in my mind, I think what's so interesting about our culture, specifically as Americans, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, but there's a lot of hustle culture. There's a lot of like, okay, we got to work our tail off all the time. Like, I think a lot of Americans sacrifice their health to chase wealth. And what this topic does for me is it makes me think like, okay, how do we become more present in our lives? What things can we instill in our clients' lives that allow them to feel more present, more connected? Immediately as you say that, the first thing that comes to my mind is when we talk about spending time in nature, like spending time outside. A lot of people don't spend time outside. We see that with clients we talk to, but we also see that when we look at people's vitamin T scores. And the majority of the people that we do vitamin D for are extremely deficient. And obviously there's a multitude of ways to get vitamin D, but when I'm thinking de-stress, when I'm thinking help people be fully present and get away from this all-in culture, spending time in nature is one thing that comes to my mind immediately that we talk a lot about with our clients and trying to find ways to build that in. What are your thoughts?
I think I wanted to start off with a personal example, and that is I talked with my therapist the other week about, and with my friend Darcy, she had a really great idea of, my watch. Like, I'm a person that's very technologically connected. I own a social media company. I have the TikTok stuff with my virality and my weight loss journey. So I'm somebody that's very connected to my phone. With that being said, I never really saw it as an issue until recently. And that I noticed how much anxiety I would get when my wrist would buzz because I had a Garmin Venue 3 smartwatch. And I had the thought, I was like, I wonder if I should turn a sleep schedule on it. So I'd only get notifications during business hours. That was Nurse's idea, was to like keep it on from 8 to 5.
So you were getting 24/7, like even at night if you had an
Yeah.
email or something.
Yep. I was. And every time I get a message or a call, I've been through a lot in my life, like a lot. And we're going through a lot right now. Um, and there's nothing happening on my phone that is so important that it can't wait. And if it can't wait, we have a rule in our family and our friend group, and it's called double tapping. Call me twice. I will pick up the phone. Like, I could be in the middle of a cold plunge. I'm joking, not me. But I would get out for the double tap because that means emergency,
Yeah.
So there's no, so I think something where I'm going with this, sorry to seem like I'm rambling a little bit. Yesterday, I didn't wear my smartwatch. Just didn't remember to put it on. At the end of the day, I was like, wow, it feels weird to not have it on, but like also, I didn't get that heart drop of anxiety because my wrist didn't buzz all day. And I didn't wear it today. And I feel great. I feel fantastic. So I'm going to get rid of my Garmin. I'm going to get a different Garmin because the other side of that is I enjoy health tracking. I love health metrics. I love looking at my sleep scores and trying to adjust based on how I did and my heart rate and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to go to a dumb smartwatch, for example. Like, so Garmin makes one called the Garmin Instinct, and it basically just shows like altitude and, time, but it doesn't do notifications. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is just, it's really, in a very quick amount of time, it's really lowered the sense of urgency and anxiety. So unplugging in that is like, it's helped me chill out quite a bit.
Well, I think all those notifications just clutter the brain. Yeah. Yeah. But we only have so much capacity. Like as human beings, I think the more that you can minimize your distractions. Yeah. And it really comes down to, for me, like when you're thinking of the stress with our clients, when you're thinking of the stress of everyday life, how do we help you live your best day possible every single day? Like if I was to ask you your best day, you would mention being outside, fishing, being present, probably with your family, like being able to do those things.
Absolutely.
And so does a watch that's going off all the time help you live your best day?
Does it add to your life? Right? No, honestly,
No.
that's the thing that I've noticed over the past couple of days is like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
The people that are important to me know that they can call me if I'm not answering, if it's something urgent that they need to talk about, like you, for example, or Darcy or my mom or my dad or my wife. They'll call me if it's important. And if it's not important, I don't need to give it the urgency.
Yeah.
Not everything has to happen right now. And that's, I think I was a bit brainwashed by hustle culture. And I'm not going to delete social media. That's a little drastic for someone like me. It works for some people, and maybe I'll get there. Maybe I'll get to that point and realize that it's not really adding to my life. I can't really delete social media because I own a social media company, but like, you know what I mean? So it's like, we always talk about giving our clients or our listeners an actionable step. It's like, if you wear a smartwatch, I'm not saying take it off or get rid of it. Mute your notifications for a few hours a day and just give yourself a break. And like a lot of people already have their watches on sleep mode for nighttime, and that's great. But like, give yourself a break during the day, Like even like, dude, even the notifications that were like, get up and move, that wasn't helping me. That's what they're for. It would literally just anxiety as soon as it buzzed.
Yeah. I think the big thing with it is asking yourself, does it add value to your life?
Yeah.
Like when you think about the best version of yourself, does this stressor add value to your life? And I think any stressor, come back to your original question of like stressor and hustle culture and all that good stuff wasn't necessarily derived there. But I think the biggest thing with stressors in life is, does this stressor add to your life? Does it help you be the best version of yourself that you want to be? Because a lot of times we put things in our lives just because we think that's what we have to do.
Yep. I'm feeling the same way about caffeine lately. I'm not getting off of it completely, but I have dialed back a lot.
Yeah. So I think figuring out what stressors add value to your life and help you be the best version of yourself, and then incorporating those in your life. Because oftentimes we think that we need to do all the things and we get spread so thin. And I even see it with myself. We have 4 kids out. Life is busy. What's most important to me is being the most present father and spouse that I could be, while also helping to grow this business and helping to help thousands of people take control of their health. And you can see that I don't have my watch on either. Like I stopped wearing mine recently as well, just due to the fact that I think you can obsess over those metrics to where it pulls away from you being fully present.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's valuable.
Do you feel like you've caught yourself a little bit? I think a big part of this is accountability, right? Like I'm able to admit that like I had a problem. Like I was addicted to my phone, probably still am, and addicted to the notifications and the instant gratification of getting a text and responding if something that makes me feel good. So like, I guess I want to hold you accountable. This last 2 months has been pretty stressful for our company and for you as a person in your personal life. Do you think that you can admit, and you tell me if I'm wrong, push back on me. Can you admit that you spread yourself a little too thin?
I always do. I have a hard time delegating.
Yeah.
That's life, man.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. But I think what I always think through, you heard me say this today, is like, what's our next best step? Yeah, there could be a million things more in the world, but moving forward, to me, there's a quote that I can't remember who said it, but RFP, they would always say, relentless forward pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal as a business is to empower people to take control. Every move that we make has to be in line with that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing with every single day that we need to do is take one step forward. It's that simple. If you always chase empowering people to take control, no matter what happens with the stressors, all we're trying to do is move forward and help more people. And so for me, there could be all these stressors going on, but it's like, okay, what's my next step per se?
I have one pushback on what you just said. I really love what you just said. But I think something that a lot of people don't understand, and that's a really interesting thing about this podcast. Like, a lot of you guys listen to this for the health and wellness part of it. But we're also, it's a startup and this is business. Like, we talk a lot about business too. Gus owns a business. I own 3 or 4 businesses. Like, anyway, I think something that is really, really difficult to swallow is sometimes to move forward, you have to move back.
Mm.
Sometimes to take that step forward, you have to go back a couple steps to rebuild your foundation. Does that make sense? It's kind of like in cars, to turn left, you got to turn right.
Yeah, I guess what do you mean by that with healthy is?
Well, for example, we were an established company with corporate backing. I would say on paper, divorcing from our corporate parent looks like a step in the wrong direction, right? We lost a lot of funding. We had to restructure everything. That took a lot of resources, assets, time. But would you say at this point, 6 months later, we're at the best place we've ever been?
I think we're the healthiest we've ever been.
Exactly. We had to take a step back.
Yeah.
Like, we had to take a step back, kind of take it back to the basics, the essentials, and refocus our energy. Get rid of the fluff, the flying to different states for conferences, and just really focus on what we do. And that's coaching. That's what we do best. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that I agree with you. 1% better every day. I tell a lot of my friends that. Just 1%. That's all you got to do. But sometimes I really do think that you have to move a little bit backwards.
We're still a calculated step, too.
It is a calculated step, but like, here's a really simple example, okay? So, in therapy, right? You could before a person goes to therapy, typically they have been pushing off or bottling up their emotions for years and years and years and years, right? And then you go to therapy and you unpack all of that. And that can feel like regression, like bad, because you're reliving a lot of the trauma that you went through. But to get to a better place, you have to do that. It's calculated, like you said, but it is still a step back to go, and it can feel, excuse me, it can feel like a step back to relive those traumas that you buried deep, deep inside,
Yeah.
But it's imperative to healing. To put in the work, you have to relive it sometimes, and that sucks. But I really think it's important that people understand that you can, going backwards does not mean you're failing. Sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sayings ever, I believe it's an AA saying, but it's relapse is part of recovery. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah. It's like, it's part of it. And that applies to everything. You can be in therapy for years and have a really bad week, but that doesn't, here's another analogy. It's like, how does it go? It's like, if you had $1 million and they equate it to seconds, it's like, if you lost half of it, would that make the rest not worth it? So it's like, you have X amount of seconds in a day. I think it's 84,000 seconds in a day. If 40,000 seconds or whatever it is are bad, does that mean it's not worth trying for the other 40,000? So anyway, continue.
No. I think coming back to what you said at the beginning of this, the stress side of things, what we're coming to is with stress, no matter what it is, first you need to know where you're at with it. And if taking steps backwards is what you got to do first, know that that's okay, is what you're saying. But really, what our goal is with our clients and with the individuals that we see is how do we de-stress your life and allow you to be fully present in the moment that you're in and help support you along your journey. So like Zach mentioned, the watch or any form of distractions. How do we figure out what the distractions are that are building you back? And then if your next step is to rid your life of those, how do we make sure that the stressors that you're removing are the right ones for you?
Yeah, it's strategic.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not ripping the Band-Aid off. For some people, that works. Cold turkey works for some people. For some people, it doesn't. Sometimes it can create a bigger problem.
I think you got to identify what those stressors are for you too, and it's different for every single person.
Yep.
Which is where our coaching comes into play. That's why it's individual for every single person that we see.
Okay, so I'm going to do one more, we only have about 9 minutes left in my storage, so we're gonna do one more. Um, let's go with small habits, big results, which is literally the foundation that we built this house on. The trap of trying to change your entire life overnight on January 1st versus the magic of making tiny, effortless shifts that actually stick. What do you have to say about it?
To everything. I think it's the biggest barrier that people have when they become a part of our program. When they become a client of Healthy is Wellness. I think one of the things that we have to sell, and it's not that we're necessarily selling it, we've seen it work for 8 years now, but people have to understand that small changes can create big impacts. And our business is based around how do we take these small changes and then add to them over time. There's a reason that we don't oftentimes sell one-time events because we want to see clients again, whether that's monthly, quarterly, every other month. And the minute that you leave a session with us, you leave with one actionable item to deploy in your life. The next month when you come back, if you're having success with that one actionable item, we ask you, do you want to build off of this or do you want to keep doing what you want to do? And there's a reason that we have records like the one that I showed Zach today, where we have people that are significantly losing body fat, gaining muscle mass, the unmeasurable things. They're more present, they're happier. It's because we found a way to incorporate small changes in people's lives that have big impacts. And as coaches, our job is to be able to get you to believe these small changes. We're lucky enough and blessed enough to see it every single day with the clients that we work with. But oftentimes people are like, all I'm going to do is a 12-hour fast, and you expect me to have these changes or feel this much better? Yeah. But the hard part for us is getting people buy into it and believe it.
Yes.
So I think small changes, big impacts is about longevity and true sustainable change. And it's the basis of what we provide people.
Yeah, I agree. As somebody that did the program or started with it before I got the job, I met up with the Healthy Is crew before I started here. And as people, we are so society today. I feel like it's probably been for a long time. But society today is so addicted and indoctrinated, whatever word you want to use for instant gratification, right? Especially with the age of social media. We are in tune with we want it and we want it right now. I think that's the biggest barrier in my opinion is small changes, big impacts, but it's not right away all the time. So it's like that's why GLP-1s are so successful with people at this moment. And I think they're great. I really do. So this isn't a knock against them, but you see results so fast from them. It's a lot easier to maintain the habits because you have something helping you so much. Does that make sense? I do not think that it's a cheat or a shortcut of any sort. I love it. I think it's an amazing tool in the toolbox. But I think when we employ these small changes, how do I explain this? You kind of talked about it earlier today. While our program, and mind you, we do service clients with the Muscle First program that are on GLP-1s. Like it's a big part of what we do. I do love them. Um, it's a slow burn. It's a lot of things adding up to a big thing rather than one huge thing making a huge difference. Does that make sense? You talked about like with your analogy with concrete earlier. What was that?
Well, I think the other thing, like where my mind goes with what you just said, is there's a reason that we utilize medical grade feedback machines. And it's not that we believe that any number defines your health. But under the Healthy is Wellness umbrella, when people come in to see us, they have the option to do a body composition machine. Reason being, that as they incorporate these small changes, we want to see if they actually make a difference. Now, we can ask you how you feel. We can ask you how your sleep is, how your energy is. But I think one of the things that helps the folks under the Healthy is umbrella truly believe in these small changes is when they take on something small and then they can see like a quantified difference on their body composition machine, which I think that allows them to have a little bit more momentum going forward. But the analogy I used earlier is health and wellness is one of those things where it's not immediate gratification on the spot. Like when I was doing concrete, my grandpa had a concrete company since 1978. So I was doing concrete through high school, college as well. When you showed up on a job and you tore out a driveway or you got patio ready to pour, the minute that you left, you could see those changes immediate. And you had that like, oh my gosh, like look at all the stuff we did today.
It's like painting a house. Yeah,
Yeah.
we see it right now.
But the thing about health and wellness is all the work that you put in on front end every single day, the time restricted feeding, the going to bed early, getting your sleep, the nasal breathing, it's not necessarily going to show you every single day like, oh my gosh, you're doing great, Gus. But over time, as you stack these small changes, what happens is you have these huge impacts on your life, which might not even come into play until later in life.
I
Extend your longevity of life.
I just came up with the best analogy.
Oh gosh, the best.
Health and wellness is like 401k.
Oh, it's 100%.
You're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes time for that for the money to compound interest and make you money. Right? So like if you're investing in yourself, like you're gonna get returns. That's not to say that you won't feel positive impacts the next day from some of the stuff that we like to talk about, like fasting or like taking your watch off. Like there is stuff that you're gonna feel a difference pretty instantaneously.
The only thing that's different about the 401k thing that I think is so interesting, if you put a ton of money in the bank, it's going to add up for you over time. I think what's interesting about health and wellness is if you get too hyper fixated on it, it can actually negatively impact you, which is such a dichotomy for people to think.
Okay.
Like, so you're telling me if I work out every single day and for 2 hours a day, I'm a non-gain muscle max, but you're not sleeping, you're not eating protein. Like if you fixate so hard on all these things,
You basically become addicted to gambling.
exactly.
So it's the same like with the stock market.
It's an interesting analogy because the more that you put into yourself in health and wellness, oftentimes people think like, okay, I'm going to see these immediate results, but it's finding that Goldilocks zone for you that creates the change. And that Goldilocks zone for you, when you are a single dude at 21 years old, is completely different than that Goldilocks zone for you with 4 kids at 30 years old.
Yep. For sure.
So it's a matter of finding what fits for you and what helps you create the change in your life that you need. Very similar to a 401k. Like, yes, absolutely. The more you can put into yourself, the better off you're going to be. But finding that Goldilocks zone.
Of not like taking like, okay. So like to add on to exactly what you're saying is like, if you add in so much money that you're taking away from your ability to live right now.
Quality of life.
Yeah, your quality of life right now.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So with every client, what we're hoping to do is find that Goldilocks zone for them that helps them to adapt and become fully present in the moment. And we know that that Goldilocks zone is going to change over time. So there's a reason that we see people monthly, quarterly, more frequent, rather than just once a year. Anything else to add on this one? I think we should go more in depth on that. That's a good one. When you're thinking small changes, big impacts, and the way that we built the program, I think that Goldilocks zone to me, and this is something that I heard from somebody else back, I can't remember how long ago it was, but was the stress bucket analogy. So when I think of every single client we see, I think every client has a stress bucket. And just picture for picture purposes, you're picturing a 5-gallon bucket. Every single person has a bucket. And within that bucket, there's stressors. There's life stress. There is family stress. There's relationship stress. There is the stress of working out. There's the stress of work. There's stress of being in the sun. There's all these different stressors that add to this bucket. Over time, if you take on too many stressors, the bucket will start to overflow. When it starts to overflow, it can actually negatively impact your health. So in my mind, when people are looking for a Goldilocks zone, they're trying to figure out how do we accurately fill this bucket in a way that helps our body to adapt. And when we're coaching individuals on a monthly or quarterly basis, when they come in and see us and we go through their results and we talk through how they're feeling, what we're looking at is the equation that we're giving you helping you to achieve your goals and be the best version of yourself? Because sometimes we actually have to pull things off of people's plates to help them to adapt in the way that we want to.
Moving one step backwards
Exactly.
to go step forwards.
Yeah. So the small changes, big impacts thing is something that I think is the foundation of what we believe. And it's the foundation of our program, because really we're not about drastically changing your life in one session. It's about continued compounding right moves to help you be the best version of yourself and the happiest, healthiest version of yourself. That bucket analogy, I think, portrays that really well.
I agree. I really like that bucket analogy. If you guys can't tell, we both love analogies because it kind of brings it to you, brings it back down to earth.
Paints the picture a little bit. Yeah, another one you want to do?
Yeah, let's see here. Ooh, That one's a little bit more complex. I think we should save that for another episode. I really want to challenge you on hydration packets.
Mhm.
Want to do it now?
Go for it. We mean it.
I've seen a bit of controversy, not controversy, but like, is something like Element, Liquid IV, even Gatorade, is it really necessary for the average person on a daily basis? Because I feel like there's some people that are replacing their water intake with hydration supplements. It's like, I've seen some people talk about it. It's like, if you're exercising like the way that you do, it makes sense for you to have a Liquid IV. You're sweating buckets.
Yeah.
But does the average 35-year-old mom need Liquid IV?
It's so dependent on the person and their exercise and their strenuous and their nutrition. I think nutrition was the big thing for me. Because if somebody is eating a clean, whole food diet, you don't get a ton of salt. So in those instances, the elements, the Liquid IV, those make a ton of sense.
Right.
And I think one of the things that really is important to me is paying attention to the way that you feel when you have it. I think that will tell you a lot about whether you need it or not. But honestly, listening to your body.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing concrete, I remember getting done with a hard day of concrete, and then I would have one of the elements,
That makes sense.
and I would feel like I had a rock star shone.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you just crapped out massive amounts in 105-degree weather, breaking your back. I mean, concrete is one of literally the hardest working blue-collar jobs there is. You know that.
Yeah. And I would sweat a ton. So
A ton.
yeah.
I bet you were drenched.
Yeah, I would be drenched almost every single day, especially in the summer. So in my mind, with the electrolyte drinks, it's about trusting your body and listening to your body and seeing what you feel like, if there's differences, and then also getting like a blood panel done and knowing where your sodium, your potassium, where those things are at.
It is possible to reach a level of where it's not benefiting you.
Yeah,
You know?
pretty high.
You got to remember, and like, it's nothing against these companies, 'cause I think some of them are great, but their job is to sell a product, you know? And if they create a problem that isn't a problem, they're going to sell more products. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess I just worry because, first of all, it's expensive. It's a very expensive thing. You know, they're for the packets that we've talked about. What I mean, average $1, $2 for a packet.
They're like 80 cents for a single ish. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to look at it. 70 to 80 cents, I think.
Okay. So,
Expensive.
how do I frame this?
But in my mind, I would rather somebody probably have an element than like the 44-ounce Mega Jug Mountain Dew that we talked about earlier that has 160 grams.
There's a lot of sodium in that too, mister.
But Element doesn't have 160 grams of sugar.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
So it's interesting because when you think about like, is just like we've talked about in the past, is something healthy or unhealthy? It is so
It's objective.
Yes. So just like the elements, are they healthy or are they unhealthy? Well, what are we comparing it to? And then what's the situation the person's currently in?
Right.
What's their activity levels? What's their nutrition? Are they a breastfeeding mom that's losing a lot of their nutrients? Because when Ken was breastfeeding, she was drinking a lot of them. And it seemed to help her quite a bit.
So let me ask you this. On the days that you don't work out and you drink an Onan, do you feel a difference?
If I'm in a fastest day, yes. Some mornings I won't have time to eat in the morning, so I'll be fasted for like 16 to 18 hours. So when I had those, I definitely feel an energy like increase. But it's also because I'm trying to run my car with no fuel.
Right. You don't have the sodium or potassium or magnesium.
So I love them, even on days that I don't exercise, I love them in an extraneous fasted state.
Yeah.
For myself. But like I said, it's very dependent on the person. I have to talk to the client and see where they're at. I think we have a lot of clients that can benefit from them due to the fact that they are doing extraneous exercise or activity.
Yeah.
But we also have people where it's like, do you really need it? No. Whereas like if you brought up something like creatine, I am a big believer in creatine for almost everybody. So in my mind, like, okay, creatine monohydrate or sodium, potassium, magnesium, I'll lean towards creatine in that instance.
Right.
But I also think something that we don't think a lot about is how many people that drink too much water and don't utilize electrolytes whatsoever to get that water where it needs to be. Because electrolytes are going to help put that water to work. And so for myself, like my Mega Jug that you got me, when I'm drinking a gallon a day,
Yeah.
I need to make sure that water's going to work.
True enough. True enough.
Electrolytes help with that too.
Okay. Well, I think this is a subject that I'm going to do a little bit more research on, and we could have more versed conversation on it. Because I'm a bit skeptical. So,
Okay.
not that I think it's a bad thing, to clarify. Do you think? I just don't like the idea of people getting taken advantage of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's great, it's great. If it's not,
That's situation dependent.
knowledge is power. So,
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you.
that's all I've got for you today.
Sweetness. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We love putting these out for you guys. If there's ever anything that you want to hear from us, let us know. Leave us ratings, comments, reviews. We appreciate you all and hope you have a great day. See you next time.